I am going to apologise for is the state of this side of my face. I've got a really bad conjunctivitis. I apologise. I'm trying to film from this angle as much as possible just so no one gets put off the dinner. Maybe I need to put an eye patch on, or maybe I'll just walk around in sunglasses like I'm some, I don't know, celebrity or something. I don't know. But yeah, I apologise for this eye, okay? I hate it just as much as you probably do. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Vogue YouTube channel. Now, today, or this week, however you want to say it, we've got something, same again, very different from the last week, which was when we were driving around in a big, obnoxious 5-litre V8 Range Rover. This week we were in something a little bit more tame, a little bit more normal, a little bit more everyday, but it's still really cool nonetheless, and that is why I'm going to be making some videos on it. What we're going to be doing basically is we're going to be doing a 2-part video. So I'm going to be doing the first part this week and the second part next week. What I'm going to be doing these videos on is our Volkswagen Caddys. Now, the reason that I am doing these videos over 2 parts is because there is a lot of information to digest, and I don't want to just splurge all of that out in one video, make it dead confusing and make it even more complicated than what it needs to be. So we're going to do it in 2 parts, and this week we're going to be doing a walk around and a little show you of what we have to offer when it comes to Volkswagen Caddys, and then next week we're going to be taking them both for a drive because I'm going to be showing you 2 Caddys today, a Mark III and a Mark IV. I'm going to show you the differences and everything that you need to know about them. So if you've ever been down here at Vogue, I'm going to move that out of the way, it's doing my head in. If you've ever been down here at Vogue or you've ever looked on our website, you will see that it is Caddy galore in there. I would show you right now in the rearview mirror, but you can't quite see. But we have over like 23 Caddys in stock at the moment. So we have a lot, and we know Caddys like they're inside out. Caddys are extremely popular, but at the same time they can be quite confusing for someone who's wanting to buy one. It's not as straightforward as I'll just have a Caddy. There's loads of different specs, there's loads of different types, there's different engine choices, everything. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be basically giving you like a nice little guide, like an easy to run down guide that you can watch if you are ever in the market for a Caddy, or even if you're just interested in them and you would like to know more about what we do to them. In this video I've got 2 Caddys that I'm going to be showing you. The one that I'm currently sat in right now, which is a Mark III, and there is a Mark IV just over there on the forecourt that I'm also going to bring out afterwards. Look around and I'm going to show you exactly what makes these different from your regular Caddy. They turn them from a normal boring Caddy into a Vogue Caddy. So without further ado, less of me waffling on, let's give you a little walk around of what we've got. Here is Caddy number 1. Now, I've got this one out for a specific reason. Obviously, I had a choice of a lot of them, which are all over there, but I chose this one for a specific reason. A, because it's a Mark III, and I'm going to be talking about the differences between the Mark III and the Mark IV, and B, because it's a Caddy Maxi, which I think a lot of people might not actually know exist. First thing you'll notice is, well, to some people it might just look like a normal Caddy, but to those that do know Caddys, it's a lot longer, and that's why this one is a Caddy Maxi. So it has got a longer wheelbase, which means that the cargo area in the back is just bigger, I guess. So you have got tons and tons of room in here. It's the same height as a normal Caddy, as I said, it's just longer. So if you're the type of guy that needs to lug around all your ladders, this is the kind of Caddy that you're going to be after. Or if you've got, like, you know, a lot of people turn these into campers and stuff, the Maxi is also a really good option for that. But the one thing that I want to run through the most is what makes this different to a normal Caddy and what makes this a Vogue line Caddy, a Vogue custom Caddy, as opposed to just a normal one. So first up, at the front is where we make a lot of changes. So you'll see here we've got the grille. Usually that comes in a really dull black plastic, which just doesn't look very nice, looks really cheap. Same with the bottom grille here. So what we do is we have those painted gloss black, so they look a lot more fresh, a lot newer, a lot more up to date. We do the same with the badges, so they usually come chrome. We have those go to gloss black as well, just so it gives a far more aggressive look on the front of the van. As well as doing all of the gloss black detailing, we also add a splitter, which you can see there at the bottom. Now, I always say adding a splitter is one of the best aesthetic modifications you can do to any car, and it really massively transforms these Caddys. Something plain and boring to something that looks far more aggressive. So if you could see the front of one of these without all of this, you would think it looked boring, but with it looks amazing. Moving on to the wheels and this general area, should we say. So we lower all of our Caddys, we put them on coilovers so that we lower the ride height, make them look a little bit more, you know, cool, as in opposed to like a builder's van. And we also like to add 19-inch wheels, mostly. We do also occasionally add 18, 19, 20-inch, but we usually go for the 19-inch. So we have these wheels in-house that we put on. You probably won't find these anywhere else. They're super cool and they're like a staple to our Vogue custom caddies. So we have brand new 19-inch alloys wrapped in brand new rubber go on there as well. They're not to everybody's taste, but do you know what? They really do suit these vans and they really do bring them up to date. So this is a 2014, it's an 8-year-old van, but you would never think it looking at it. Another major thing that we like to do to these vans is a lot of them, if they're, you know, they're the basic spec, they will come with a black plastic, same kind of material as what the front grille would be, a really dull black plastic front bumper, rear bumper and side trims along the side down here. Now these are alright if you're wanting to use it as a scruffy work beater, but that's not what we want our vans to be doing. We want our vans to be the best of the best. So we have all of these bumpers colour coded to the same colour as the car, as well as, like I said, all of these trims down the side, these all get colour coded to the same. Door handles, if necessary, sometimes the door handles can come in the black. Wing mirrors, they get colour coded. Everything gets colour coded, and trust me, we had one arrive yesterday which was the start line, so it's the basic spec, and it had black plastic everywhere and it was a white van and it looked minging, but when it's finished with us it's going to look completely different. Another example is these here as well. These often come in black plastic, they get to go white as well. So now we're at the rear. Should talk about these as well. This is a spoiler that we like to add on. Some vans come with them, not all of them, but we like to add them onto the vans that don't come with them. Same again, they get colour coded to the same colour as the van. Another addition that we like to put on is these side rail covers. So a lot of the vans come without these on and you just see the silver like rail that the door would obviously slide on. We think they look a little bit ugly, so we like to put these on. So again, they all get colour coded. Another little addition that we have recently started putting onto our vans is these little decals, which I think are super cute, and they really make us, our vans, stand out from any competition's vans. And we also have the custom colour Vogue sticker, which a lot of the time matches something in the interior, which I'm going to get onto in a second. So that's mostly it for the outside of the van. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the inside, and then also talk about a little few things that might not necessarily be on these two vans that I'm going to show you, but that we most definitely do offer. Let's go to the inside. Now, as you remember, I mentioned that the decal on the side down there matches something on the inside, and that is these lovely seat covers which go on every single one of our vans that might just have boring plain bit ugly seats. We like to put on these leather or seat covers, which we have come in a variety of different colours. We mainly do green, black and green, black and red, black and white, and then we like, you know, like we try and match them to the vans as best we can. The seats don't tend to be the most comfortable things in the world, so to add these seat covers, oh, it makes a huge difference. They are super comfy. This van actually does have a bulkhead, but some people don't like a bulkhead, so we can take them out. Some people do like a bulkhead, some people like a see-through bulkhead, some people like a caged one, some people like a solid one like this. We have tons of these that we can swap in and out of all of the vans, so you know, if there is a particular type of bulkhead that you would like, we can also get those fitted into there. Only do we care about the outside, we also care about the inside, because ultimately that's where you're going to be spending most of your time. The thing with these caddies is, I think one of the reasons why they're so popular, the modification list for these things is endless. You can go crazy on them if you wanted to. You can even put like Audi S3 engines in these things and just make them absolute machines. Not that anyone would probably have the money to do that, but you can do it if you want to. I think I've seen it done a few times. They're super popular because they are so customizable. Is that a word? I don't know, but they are. And add Apple CarPlay to in here if you wanted to, which I know is a super popular option for a lot of people nowadays. Obviously everyone has an iPhone, don't they? So everyone wants to connect their phone super easy to the car. So that's one of them. There are also, obviously these vans do have like a lot of different uses for a lot of different people. We've seen people come in who want them for work vans. They want them just as a car but with a little bit more room. They want them for mountain biking, like just moving stuff around, you know, there's loads of different uses for them. We can like tailor a van to be specific for that use. So I'm going to move on into the back, which I think it's just started raining, which is not what I wanted. Into the back, area. This one is pretty bare, you know, it's kind of just been left as it is, but we can do a lot in here to make it completely different. So all of these, obviously side panel in here can be panelled off. We can have that fully carpeted. I'm going to show an example of one on the screen right now so you can see. So we can fully carpet the rears. As I said, we can interchange bulkheads, and we can also convert any caddy that we have into a 5-seater. Basically use this thing as a car and a van, which is mind-blowing, I know. Yeah, that gives you a little bit of a rundown of what we can do in here. We can also sound deaden everything, so it makes it a little bit more quiet, a little bit more, you know, daily drivable. Lots of stuff that you can do. We can also convert the doors into ones with windows. You know, the list is endless. So that gave you a little bit of a rundown of this 2014, which, as I mentioned, is a Mark III. So the Mark III ran from 2010 to 2015, so it changed to a Mark IV in 2016. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop this one back and I'm going to go and get one of the Mark IVs out. Now this Mark IV is actually really, really special because it's one that you don't necessarily see every day. Here she is. And as if by magic, you join me sat in another caddy. Believe it or not. The main reason that I'm showing you this one is A, because yeah, it's a Mark IV, and B, because it's actually got an engine which a lot of people probably don't realise that you can get in a caddy. I certainly didn't until I got in this thing the other day and it didn't sound like a diesel. This is actually a 1.4 TSI petrol engine, which, don't get me wrong, it's not very common. You don't see these things very often, but you can get a petrol caddy, and I can't believe like more vans haven't done the same thing, like, because this engine actually works so well in this van. So when we do next week's video about the actual like driving of the two, I'm going to take the two same vans, providing they're both still here and they haven't been sold, out for a drive, and we're going to talk about the difference between obviously the diesel and the petrol. Talk a lot more about the engine in this one then, but it also does have a lot of cool stuff in terms of like spec modifications and things like that. So here is the 2018 Mark IV caddy. As I said, the Mark IV ran from 2016 to 2020. So this one kind of sits in the middle at 2018, and the main difference that you can tell is this front end. I'm going to quickly put a picture of the Mark III back on the screen. That's the Mark III. Back to Mark IV, you can see this one, it's a little bit more like refined. The grille's a little bit bigger, the lights are more of like square shaped, and the bottom portion of like the grille is a lot different as well. I do definitely prefer the front end of the Mark IV as opposed to the front end of the Mark III. In terms of modifications, what do we do? So this van turned up pretty cool as it was anyway, but we've still added our little Vogue touch. So same go, we've got the gloss black grille. This one's actually got a little GTI badge on it, which kind of gives it away that it's got a petrol engine under the bonnet. And we also obviously have added to the splitter, same again. Into the wheels, these are wheels that the van actually already came on, but we've decided to keep them because it suits it really, really well. Another big difference between the Mark III and the Mark IV is the wing mirrors. So the Mark IV wing mirrors, I don't know whether that's going to zoom in or not. I don't know, but can you see right over there, the Mark IV wing mirror? It's got like a more of a van style wing mirror, a big square wing mirror, whereas the Mark IVs come with more of like a car wing mirror, which I really, really like. It's colour coded to the same grey, and moving to the rear, we've also got tinted rear glass, debadged Volkswagen, and down here, as you will see, got the little TSI badge. But yeah, so again, colour coded side rail. This one also does have some side skirts fitted as well, which does definitely make it look a little bit lower and makes it look a lot more bulky, which is pretty cool. Moving on into the back, if you remember me saying in the Mark III caddy that we can make these into a 5-seater, and to a lot of people I think that's super confusing, a van that is also a 5-seater, like what the hell? But yes, you can turn these things into a 5-seater, which really does transform them from a van into a more like usable car that can also be a van because the seats can be taken out. Is that just, that's a no-brainer if you ask me. So as you can see in the back of this caddy, we have got 3 individual seats, and we've also got the 2 seats in the front. Now I'm going to talk about these seats in a minute because they're super nice. Rear seats in the back of a Volkswagen Caddy, and we can actually put these seats in for you. So if you actually, you know, had your heart set on one of the Caddies that we've got, but it didn't have 5 seats, we can add the 3 rear seats. And I'm going to show you that you do still have plenty of room in the back, as you can see, because this one's got 4 wheels still in the back. So yeah, you've got the 3 seats there and you've still got plenty of room. You've got a huge boot, a lot bigger than what you would get in your average car. Now we're going to go up into the front and we're going to show you some more cool stuff that this van has to offer. We're back up into the driver's seat, and yes, we are sat in these beautiful, like, bucket seat almost type seats. Does that make sense? I don't think it did. And up here in the front as well, we also have a GTI steering wheel. I don't know whether this has come off of a Polo or a Golf, but either way, it's a really, really nice steering wheel. All of the buttons on here have been coded, so they actually do work. I know a lot of the time people will put like a nicer steering wheel in these Caddys but not actually code them, so that it's just pointless. But yeah, this one is fully coded, it works, it's amazing. Moving on into the centre dash, as you can see, it is pretty similar to the Mark III, but you will notice a couple of differences in that the vents are slightly different. In the Mark III they're round, in here they're just like more rectangular. We've got like still the same compartments almost. The glove box is a little bit different, whereas there's actually a door on it. And the screen is same again, it's pretty similar. This is another standard Volkswagen screen. Same again, it's pretty good spec because we've got radio, phone, we've got voice on this one as well. You've also got navigation, you know, you've got your CD player and everything, and it is fully touchscreen as well, obviously. But vanity mirrors. Now, a lot of these Caddys, there we are, look. A lot of these Caddys sometimes don't come with vanity mirrors, but this one does. We also have air conditioning, we've got heated screens, even got a heated front screen. You're not going to be able to see the little squiggly lines in it, but it is a heated front screen. And you know, obviously you've got all your heating controls. They're exactly the same as they are in the Mark III. We have a little 12-volt socket, and we've got aux and USB, which is also a nice addition to have in your car. Rundown of, I would say, 2 examples. Obviously I could sit here and show you every single example because each one of those Caddys out there has got something different and something quirky on it that the other one necessarily doesn't have. But that is like a little quick rundown of some of the things that we can offer you guys if you're, you know, looking to buy a Caddy. You don't want a normal, boring ex-builder's van. You want like the best of the best. And that's why you would most definitely come to one of our Caddys. Well, there's obviously all of these modifications which I've just spoken about. There are lots of different specs that you can also get a Caddy in. So like there's the main 3, which is, and you will, if you've been looking at them, you will have seen these words. So you've got a start line, you've got a trend line, and you've got a high line. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what these actually mean because it can be quite confusing. Start line is your starting line. It's your most basic specificationed Caddy. So cheapest is the budget one. Then we move on to the trend line, which is kind of like the middle ground. So this one can have things like electric windows, it could have air conditioning. And then we get on to the high line, which is the top spec. So that's like the one that usually has all of the gadgets and things like that. It will have Bluetooth, it will have electric windows, it will have air conditioning. But the main basis is that the start line is your basic one, your trend line is the middle ground, it's usually between the 2, and your high line is going to be the top spec one. I like to call ours the Vogue line, which means that they have got all of those tasty modifications that I've just spoken about on there so that they look a lot cooler than your regular normal Caddy. We don't just buy, you know, any old van that someone brings in. We like to buy like very specific types. We like to look for low mileage, we like to look for ones with good service history, we like to look for ones with good specifications and things like that, so that we can turn these into the best of the best. And that is why we turn down like multiple vans every single week that, you know, might not fit the Vogue line specification. If it's not gonna, you know, be the best of the best, might not necessarily be interested in it. So you know that when you are looking at one of our vans, that they are gonna be the best, one of the best on the market, dare I say. Next week, like I said, we're going to be taking this 1.4 TSI Caddy out. We're also going to take one of the 2-litre diesels and maybe even a 1.6 diesel as well, so that we can look at the difference between the 3 main engine types, because not only have they got confusing for specification, but the engines can put out all different types of brake horsepower and things like that. Make sure you are subscribed so that you can see next week's video where I let you know what I think about them in terms of driving. Next week, and keep your eyes peeled. Oh, well, keep your eyes, or just one eye if you're me, because I got conjunctivitis.